The purpose of this video is to demo how attribute-based access control works, aka abac control, as well as how transitive tags work. Abac control is very scalable. Multiple teams could assume the same role and get different sets of resources. It is the best radius and resource segregation control mechanism. I use OKTA as my SAML provider. Thank you, OKTA, for the free trial /dev account. OKTA is the best identity management service. If you are considering a identity management service provider, choose OKTA. For the first part of this video, I will demo abac control by first showing the one role which will be assumed by two different teams. I will create and delete S3 buckets with the correct and incorrect tag value. Then assume role into another account in my organization to show how transitive tag works. After the demo, I will show the setup on both OKTA and AWS. I put the setup at the end of this video, so if you're not technical, hands-on person, you do not have to suffer through the technical details. So what I'm showing on my screen right now is the one role that I will be using for both teams. As you can see, there are no tags on this role. And this is my first account, and right now I'm logged on as the administrator. So I can go to my second account, and this account has exactly the same role with the same policy assigned. And again, there's no tags. And the trust relationship is to trust the team abac role from the other account. Okay, so now I am going to switch over to a different browser so I can start to assume role with OKTA. So as you can see that I have already signed in with Team abac control role with my red team ID. So right now, the red team ID is carried in with a team tag called red. So everything that I create must have the word red in it. So I'm going to create a bucket now. In this demo, I did not really require you to tag because with S3 bucket, tagging is not controlled well. I can require it later, but as everybody knows, that S3 bucket only supports object tagging. It doesn't really control the bucket by tag. So I'm going to create a bucket now. So as you can see, I have successfully created a red bucket. Now, if I try to create a white bucket or a blue bucket, which means if I want to create a bucket without the word red in it, my creation will fail because the requirement is that whatever resource I create must have my tag value in it. So now I have this red bucket. I can put stuff in it, I can do anything I want, or I can delete it if I feel like it. So I'm going to switch over to my second account, which is also the same role called Team abac in my other account. And this role is assigned exactly the same policy. As you can see, it's trusting my primary account and is trusting this one role. So now I have two red bucket created here already. Now because I'm signed in with a red bucket, a red tag, now I can delete this bucket. and the bucket is deleted. And if I want to delete another one, as long as the bucket name has this tag value in it, I have full access control. So now I've deleted all of my red bucket and I'm in a secondary account. As you can see, there's no tag on this row either. So the tag value is actually carried in with my session tag. Now I'm going to create another red bucket. With a different value. As you can see, the bucket is created with no problem. So now I'm going to sign out. And I'm going to go back to my Okta again. Now I've relogged into Okta. So this time I'm going to sign out. And I'm going to sign on with my white account. So as you can see, now I'm signed in as a white account, and I'm authenticating to exactly the same account with the same role. As you can see, right now I'm still using Team abac role, and my ID is now plus white instead of plus red. So now I'm going to go to S3 bucket, and in the previous demo, I created a red bucket. So now I'm going to try to delete it. It's already telling me I don't have sufficient permission to list object because I'm right now logged on as the tag white. So I can't even see what's in the red bucket. Now if I go into white bucket, now I can do whatever I want with this bucket. I can delete anything I want in this bucket. And I can also delete this bucket if I want. So now if I want to create another bucket, if I try to create red bucket, it's not going to work. As we already know, this will not work. I get a fail to create bucket error message because I'm white tag now. So now if I change my bucket name to white, now the bucket has been created without any problem. So now I'm going to switch over to my account, my member account with the same role to demonstrate the transitive tag. So again, if I click on red bucket, which I just created with my red team, and I try to add a file. So if I try to upload anything, as you can see, this is a red folder. Right now, although you can't see it, but I am logged on with the white tag. So if I try to upload, it will fail. So I'm going to close it. So now I'm going to try to create a white bucket. I'm going to give it a unique name. And as long as I have my magic word white in my bucket name, I'm able to create a bucket, and I'm able to upload or download any files. as I wish. Okay, so this concludes my demonstration on the abac control. And now I'm going to show how to set this up. As I stated earlier, I have set up this abac role in both of my accounts. So the policy that I used is this S3 policy. Nothing is hard-coded. Everything is using a reference tag. And this tag was the magic that SAML assertion is doing. So here's the reference tag. This tag allows me to have full control to any S3 bucket and any object within those buckets, as long as the bucket name has my magic word in it. And there's no hard-coded tag. And the trust policy is for my secondary account. For my members account, I only trust the team abac role from my master account. And I also have to allow it to tag session. So now I'm going to show the same role, team abac role, from my entry point account. And the trust policy is a little more complicated, which I allow it to pass in the transitive tags. And I have to allow it to assume role with SAML. And if you look at the permission, it's exactly the same permission. The abac policy I wrote is exactly the same, which is using a reference point and nothing else. Okay, and if you look at the tag, the tag is also empty. There's no tag. Now looking at the OKTA setup. So I have two users set up. This is my master user, so don't worry about that. That's my administrator user. This is how I show all of my settings to you. So with Team Red, I have assigned the same application, and the profile part, the username I chose is my email login, and then my first name and last name is just something I made up, and the primary email. And also I'm passing in a custom attribute, which is called team. I call it red. And then I will show you my white team. So if you look at the team white, it's also assigned to the same application. And if you look at the profile, the only difference is the username. So the first name I changed to white, and the primary email address is different. And also, this tag is now white. So that's why I get a different set of the resources. So Team White can never touch anything that Team Red owns. Now, if you look at the application setup, this is how I set up my AWS Account Federation application. And the magic is, so I have assigned this access to my Team Red and Team White. And the provisioning is very standard. You can find documentations on here, which is no big deal. And then the magic is right here. If you want to use attribute control, this is where the magic is. So I will include some of the links of the reference documents that I have read through days and nights and figure out how this works. This is the new attribute source identity tag that AWS just pushed out, and I'm testing it, so I set this up and the test was successful too. So that concludes my demonstration video, and thanks for watching. Have a good day.